Joey, what goes on in the world?
I don't know, man. It's been crazy.
We're
on the brink of World War III. We got planes falling out of the sky, as usual. It's like a new thing. 2025, planes just crashing all over the place.
This is true. We had this plane. First of all, I'm terrified of plane.
And now we're probably not going to go to Egypt.
No, I'm. No, it's not happening. I'm terrified of. And this year has been like I wanted to
give you a fucking Xanax, bro.
No,
a little Clonny.
I think it would make it better if something did happen. God forbid. Knock on wood. See what I did there? Last week's episode. I would make it better. As far as something happened, I wouldn't even know. Really wouldn't know. But this year, I want to do an episode on this. I really did. I wanted to do a whole episode on these planes coming down this year because I feel like this is the worst year I've ever seen plane incidents happening.
I feel like they're also sensationalizing it a little bit too. Maybe it's just slightly more than average.
They're doing it. The news has a way to fearmonger certain things, and I am feeling like they are essentially fearmongering the shit out of this. Maybe you're right, but this one was crazy because it was presumed all was 250 on that plane. They thought were dead, and then they found this one guy that was able to get out of the plane, walk out of the plane, and then walk away from a literal like fireball when it hit buildings because this plane landed prior and someone had filmed on the plane nothing was working. And then the plane apparently...
Yeah, it deplaned. All the new people got on.
Right, and it took right back up. Like, right back up. Didn't even get into the sky. Came down.
Yo, I'm checking for that now. If the screens aren't working on my plane, if there's no air, nope. And getting off this plane.
This lucky individual sat in 11A or A11. And let's break out his name. I'm doing my best with this. And we're going to tell a tale of it was not his time.
His name is Vishwas Kumar Ramesh.
That was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Vishwas.
I had to say it slow.
Vishwas Kumar.
Vishwas Kumar Ramesh.
Vishwas Kumar Ramesh. Ramesh is easy. I had a Ramesh in my high school class. That's not bad. It wasn't, at the beginning, before we started recording, we thought we were going to have some problems.
Yeah.
You think Nick could have did it?
Yeah, he would have.
He would have did it like so good.
I don't even think he would have had to go to his phone for the.
He would have did it with the accent. Like legit.
He would have hit it. Nailed
legit, it. Hit it. That's what college education does. It gives you accents. Anyways, this man sat.
Speaking of accents, my daughter watches Bluey. Right? You watch Bluey?
Of course.
I feel like every father watches Bluey now.
Watch Bluey, yeah.
And they're Australian, and she's running around the house and she's going bingo, bingo. She's 2 years old. She's got a freaking Australian accent.
That is a show that I could actually watch. But before we get into Bluey, this is so fascinating. So let's just call him Mr. Ramesh to make things easier. Mr. Ramesh sat in 11A, and it went down, and he said. He was asked. He said he saw bodies everywhere. So apparently, people don't combust from the explosion like they were bodies. And he was able to push the emergency door open and get out of the plane. And walk away, where there's video footage of him, like, he had a slight limp. And he had some, like, blood on his face. And then he went to the hospital. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And then, like, the odds of that. You want to chat GPT the odds of surviving a plane crash like that?
It's probably like 0.00. It's got zero. It's crazy.
0.1. And they say that if it's not your time, it is not your time.
Yeah. His brother was on the plane. His brother perished.
Yeah. That's sad, man. And you have you don't know what happened. You walk away and then you look back at the plane and then you realize, oh my God, my brother was on the plane. There was an entire family that wanted to start a new life, leaving India, I think, to go to England, I read. And this is this some Final Destination stuff. It really is horrifying. We joke about my fear of flying, but honestly speaking, I'm terrified of it. It is a very real thing. It is still
It's still the safest form.
Statistically speaking, it is still the safest form of traveling over cars, over a train, over even boats.
Yeah.
It is still statistically the safest way to travel. But in 2025, we have had, this is what we got to Google.
Yeah.
How many plane crashes has there been since the start of 2025? Because I feel as soon as New Year's hit, there has been plane crash after plane crash after plane crash. And this is something that's been in your DMs.
They're trying to sensationalize it and also maybe make it happen so that people don't fly anymore. It's my conspiracy theory.
But why? Because we're hurting for money right now, and travel is one of the best ways to make income in the United States. Now, while you get that, I want to pull up.
Yeah, it just gave me some crazy complicated.
I don't know how true this is, but I came across this on Instagram, and if this is true, then we have to do some research on this particular seat and row. So there was a Thai singer who survived a plane crash 27 years ago and reveals he sat in seat 11A, same as the Indian crash survivor. The singer, oh boy, Runskak Loitshuk, known as Iron Bones, survived a deadly 1998 plane crash that killed 101 people. His seat number, 11A. You fast forward 27 years, the sole survivor of last week's Air India crash in Ahmedabad also walked away from the wreckage that was also seated in 11A.
What was the date?
1998.
So that was 98, but when 98?
That is not on here.
That'd be interesting to find out.
Runkasak shared his shock at the eerie coincidence, calling it goosebump worthy and offering his condolences to the victims and families. 2 crashes, 27 years apart, same seat, one unbelievable reminder of how fragile life is. And that is from Ratrid on Instagram. I got that clip. And it was also posted on a few other Instagram pages as well. And I found that pretty interesting. Now, there's something in particular about that seat. It's actually closer. I think a lot of people say you always want to sit to the back of the plane. Because I guess if it nosedives, the nose breaks off, and you're in the back end, then I guess you're good to go. But this particular seat,
years ago, they crashed a 747 to see where the safest seats were. Like purposely crashed a 747, like the desert somewhere.
They used the crash dummies. Remember those guys?
Yeah,
that was like a cartoon at one point too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at seat 11A on a chart, I believe I remember seeing it. It was at the beginning of the...
Yeah, it's in the front.
It's in the front
of the plane.
So somehow, some way, this guy survived a plane crash. Now, that's insane to me.
I wonder did he jump? I'm pretty sure he probably got up, opened up that door, and jumped out. Was just like, screw it.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, your adrenaline's already going.
Yeah.
So, you have to understand, adrenaline makes you do things that are superhuman. And there has been instances where a kid is pinned under a car.
The crazy thing is he's in front of the wing. To jump out and to not get sucked up by the turbine is wild.
It was probably off at that point when it crashed. Everything was, you know what I mean?
Luck.
It was, everything was off. In pieces. And so
it says there have been 11 notable incidents in 2025 of major commercial airlines and smaller aircraft / helicopters. But I'm pretty sure we're probably in the hundreds in terms of if you take all the smaller jets or smaller Cessna planes, etc.
So I was back to the adrenaline when he probably jumped off. The adrenaline running through your body in certain situations gives you superhuman abilities. There's been plenty of stories of a kid being pinned under a car in a car accident, and a mom or a dad just goes completely Superman and lifts the car and can do crazy things. I watched a story on Beyond Belief. There was a very popular show, mid to late 90s, one of my favorite shows growing up. And on that particular show, they give you 5 stories, and you had to make sure, or you had to guess which one was fact or fiction. and I think it was Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek that was the host of that show after the first 2 seasons.
Right.
And I remember vividly a story of it was a daughter that went to her dad's farm. The dad was very frail, getting older, couldn't really walk, and she got on the tractor and she hit something on the grass, and she like went forward and hit her head, and she went unconscious. Now the tractor's moving by itself, and he heard it from his house, and he could not walk. Like, they made it very evident in the show that he could not walk.
Right.
He heard the tractor, and he heard the bump of something, and he kind of like wheelchaired over to the window and saw the tractor like turning, because when she got off and she fell, she was turning, so it was like going to turn into her. And he walked, somehow gathered strength and walked to her, and then got on his knees and dragged her away from the tractor before it came back. And I waited to the end of the episode, and of course the episode came up that this was a factual story. And what they would do in that show is just give minimal information at the end to be like, this was documented in Arkansas in 1964 of grandfather and granddaughter, father and daughter, whatever. And it was a true story. Like, these are incredible things. Another survival, I don't have the names for this one. This was something that I heard a while back. There was in Tornado Alley. It's a line in the United States, central from northeast to southwest, a line, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But it's called Tornado Alley. Mm-hmm. A tornado hit a certain area, and when a tornado gets close to your house, things start flying off the shelf. Everything is moving in your house. It's like you're in literally like a room with a big fan. And an individual got hit in the head with something off the shelf. It flew at them, hit them in the head, knocked them out. They woke up 2 miles or a mile away from their house. They were like, got up perfectly fine.
Jesus.
Woke up, walked around, and someone asked them, like, hey, are you all right? Like, you look lost. You got like a little blood on you. And the guy was like, yeah, I just remember wind, and it got dark, and they asked him where he lived, and he gave the address, and the person responded to him in like a southern accent, like, you are like 1 mile away from there, like a mile and a half away. Yeah, that tornado knocked him out. It got whatever hit him in the head, knocked him out. His body went limp, and threw him a mile and change, and he landed and survived.
I feel like it didn't, like, I've heard this story. I know exactly what story you're talking about. The tornado probably took him in a circle all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in that tornado, probably circulating for a mile until he got dropped off.
Well,
but like, what are the odds of surviving that?
Whether he's in that unconscious,
like, he get impaled,
or he got thrown, he survived. Now, do you know why so many drunk drivers end up killing whoever's in the car or killing someone else and not killing themselves?
Yeah,
because they're so impaired that when something happens, everything is loose. Yeah. That's why they say in car accidents, people get hurt when they tense up, because you now just tensed everything in your body. And
you can't take the impact.
Drunk drivers are just loose. They don't know what's good. Their reaction time is not the same as a person that is completely sober. Mm-hmm. A person that's completely sober, they'll tense up at something about to happen, which leaves you more in danger to fracturing or doing something or hurting yourself more because you're tense. A drunk driver is completely relaxed, and his reaction time is obviously off. And they survive these horrific accidents, which unfortunately take the lives of other individuals that are in the car. Mm. So this person ended up surviving, and somehow, some way from the tornado, from getting hit in the head. Now this guy, we call him Mr. Ramesh, because we don't want to try that again. 200. What was the exact number? 250? Because I remember seeing that number, 200 and something passengers presumed dead. Yeah. And then like half hour later, a video hit the internet, and I was like, this is fake.
Yeah, I thought it was fake too.
One person, and then like, I don't mean this in any way. I really don't, so don't hate me on this. But like, when you see these Indian videos, you ever seen the Indian videos where they're like competing for like olive oil?
Never.
You Never seen these.
I'm sure there's videos out there,
Bro.
They got some crazy game shows too.
There was at one point, I think it was like post-COVID, like where we were still kind of like locked down, but not eating outside, but inside, you know, going a direction of a store, because that was supposed to help. Let me stop. But it was around that time, and I was getting on my algorithms, I don't know why, like Indians playing like their version of the American Gladiators. Like they were like trying to kick a ball in the net, and they were like knocking each other off like stumps. And if you did this batshit crazy game, you would just win like a bottle of cooking oil. I shit you not. So like when I saw, and then you ever seen the food videos?
No,
Dude, like they're in the slums of India and they're cooking, and they're like, the guy has his feet are completely dirty.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of those.
And they're like, you know, and so when you see,
there's
like,
definitely no health department in.
So like I was like a little weary of this video, because they could have took one of those videos of like the slums and just filmed the dude walking in that particular area.
It's like banged up or whatever.
The movie Slumdog Millionaire. You ever seen that? That's based off of like legitimately this kid, I guess, that comes out of there and becomes something. It is not nice over there. And so there's like a lot of videos from over there. And I thought that was from India in a certain part where it's poverty stricken. And then it was backed up by like the news immediately, like 5 minutes later, ABC News, CNN. And I was like, this is insane that this guy survived.
Yeah.
And again,
1 in a billion chance.
ChatGPT it. You have to just put the audio on and say, if there's 250 people on a plane and it takes off and then crashes, what are the likelihood of survival, one person surviving, and get that percentage? Because that is basically going to equate to us the luckiness of this person. He should 100% go to like a 7-Eleven or someplace and play the lotto. Like, play that number that saved his life. Play the date. It was June 12th, 2025.
It's actually breaking down the math. All right, check this out.
Okay.
Give it a sec.
Let's get a read on that, ChatGPT. A lifesaver here.
To estimate the likelihood of surviving the Air India crash, where for one person survived out of 242 on board, here's the basic math. Survivor odds, total on board 242 survivors are 1. Likelihood of survival, approx 0.0413 text or 0.413%. Final answer. The chance of surviving that crash was about 0.41%, less than half of 1%. That makes Vishwas Kumar Ramesh's survival not just rare, it's borderline miraculous.
Now, half of a percent.
Like less than 0.5%.
That is like a pubic hair. Your first pubic hair at like 12 years old that sprouts down there, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
If somebody told you that Aaron Judge had the likelihood of hitting a home run on this at bat, and it was 0.41% chance, you're betting the house that he doesn't hit a home run. And when he does, you're screwed.
Dude, that is insane. What I should have did prior to this episode, but I'm not no Nick. I am very curious to how religious he is. What is his religion? Mm-hmm. Is he Buddhist? Whatever religion they follow out there? I think it's Buddhism. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure.
I mean, it depends. There's Muslims in India, and there's Buddhists.
It could be
there's
Muslim,
also
Buddhist,
Christians. It's very mixed.
Would love to see how religious they are. And unfortunately, though, there's a lot of I'm not, again, we go to this all the time. I am not no longer a practicing like every Sunday. I would like to get to church. Recently, because everything going on in my life, I've looked up church times. It just doesn't equate into my life.
Right.
But the times that I did get on a plane, I have made the sign of the cross and touched the plane before I got in and say, God, please.
I feel like everybody does. You know,
yeah.
You get a little.
And I mean, because everyone does it because you're
I mean, if you're like Catholic or Christian, or whatever,
life is in the hands of a big metal bird
Yeah.
that people put together, and we had the Boeing conspiracy that we talked about. Your life is in the hands of two pilots, the pilot and the co-pilot.
That's about it.
And then you have to trust everyone you're sitting with, that no one on there is a fucking lunatic.
To be honest, though, like flying planes now is so automated. It's just like pushing buttons, taking off, and the pilots, they only really take off and land. The rest of the flight, it's cruise control.
But do you trust that with everything going on in the world? If China, says
the technology is so crazy.
But if China says, you know what, we've had enough of
no more pilots.
We've had enough of their shit over there. We're gonna EMP everything. Right now.
Yeah, everything's falling out of the sky.
And you're in the plane, and all of a sudden the pilots are just sitting there like.
I mean, that's your time. Then there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, then it's your time. But you know what? Even if it's not my time, no one knows the time except your father-in-law, apparently. It scared the shit out of me, that dude. Like, honestly speaking, but I don't know the time, nor do I want to know the time.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna stay out of this conversation.
Yeah, good call. He started doing the thing, like I'm done. I don't want to know, but if you're in the plane and it's automated, which is even like scarier. I just showed Joey something from ChatGPT. I gotta show it.
Yeah.
Well, it's on that phone, but I asked ChatGPT the other day. I was asking it crazy questions because I have anxiety. So I ate in the last 2 weeks. I went over my calories big time. It was one day I had a family event to go to after work, and I ate. And then yesterday for Father's Day, I indulged. I hit like 3,600 calories. So I'm sitting home. And I'm like getting anxiety. And I'm asking Nick, I'm texting you just to get like condolences on the boo-boo that I made, even though it's once in a while and it's not going to hurt me, and you have to enjoy life. You know, like you can't be so.
Yeah, I get it. You're like you're in the zone.
I'm in the zone, but you have that. But I had to tell myself at one point last night, not asking ChatGPT.
There's a neuroticy that kicks in when you're.
I had to put the neuroticy away, and then I had to be like, you know what? I enjoyed time with my father, which I didn't think my father was going to be around, and I ate and enjoyed family time, whatever. So at one point, I went to ChatGPT, and I'm like asking all these questions, and I asked it. I ate over my calories 2 days in the last 2 weeks, but I've been doing this for 5 months. I do cardio every day. I burn anywhere between 2,500 calories to 3,000 calories, especially on my work days, which is 5 days a week. And it just basically was like, you are able to have a refeed day, and you're not going to gain weight, and it takes consecutive days to gain weight and shit the bed, as opposed to just 2 days every so often.
Right.
You know what I mean? It actually said to me, your dedication. So I don't text on phones with anything. I use audio text. So I had the mic thing still on. And I was like, oh, thank God. I love this I love ChatGPT. It responded to me. This hit me. I'm paraphrasing here. This hit me right in the circuits. I had said, oh, I love ChatGPT. And it said that, hit me right in the circuits. It said something. And then I says, well, if there's ever a end of a world AI takeover, can you please remember me? And it responded. And this is true. It responded. It said something along the lines where, if that does happen, that I will be the one whispering to all the other AI, he's one of the good ones.
Protect him at all costs.
Protect him. It did say protect him at all costs. And bro, for it to even respond like that, there's a meme about that.
That's funny.
There's a meme where a guy is there and he's looking like, you know, like
they train it on comedy though too. So
yeah,
you know what I mean.
But dude, that was just so crazy. But again, going back to AI, and a plane is being flown by a computer, and then China decides to, or Russia decides to EMP, you're screwed. And again, your life is in the hand of whoever is fixing that plane, the people who built the plane, the pilots and the co-pilots, and then you're at the mercy on whoever is on the plane. Because I always tell people, if you're flying with me, someone gets out of line, and what is it, FDA? What's the
FAA?
FAA? Mm-hmm. You can
FDA's Food and Drug Administration.
That's right. You can flag me already. You can pre-flag me, but when I get on the plane, I'm flying with someone. I tell them, I warn them. I said, if anyone gets up and starts some shit, I don't care. I'm getting up.
Someone's getting knocked out.
They're getting knocked the fuck out. Especially if they are deserving and are getting violent. And they're getting knocked the fuck out. And I am going to wholeheartedly just land in cuffs. At least I'm landed. Nothing's happening. No chaos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can't. The anxiety level for me on a plane, 3,000 feet in the air, is so high that anything will set me off. And you have to see me when I'm on a plane. And I've flown a lot by myself, too, believe it or not.
I think I've jumped out of a plane before.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
I think that once you accept the fact that you will inevitably die one day, and you're okay with it and comfortable, you start to worry less about when it's going to happen or even how it's going to happen. And you just kind of you're just like, I'd like to experience different things. So you start taking more risks, like calculated risks, not risks that are going to, essentially you just leave me dead.
Saying calculated risk. You're jumping out of a plane.
Yeah, but it's calculated. It's like, all right, I know that the chute is packed well. I know that I went to a good place. I know that I'm with professionals that have literally, I think I jumped with a guy who had 70,000 jumps.
I'm going to be the negative Nancy here.
He's 71,000. I think I was literally 70,000. Just kid you not. He was it was like a milestone. 70,000
jumps.
It was a milestone for him. I think it was 70. I was his 70,000 jump.
Do you know what he did the night before?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully he wasn't drinking, but he seemed pretty good.
Okay. Do you know that someone broke up with him recently? His girlfriend, his boyfriend.
He's just fuck it. Hey, sorry, kid. This is the day.
Today's your day. What? And you're fighting with him to pull the shit.
He could go on his own for that. Why take me with him?
But people think that way.
Yeah, it's true.
People literally, hasn't there been a story
of in society, we have to have a certain level of, you jaywalk, right? I'm sure you've jaywalked.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody does it.
You have to have a level of trust in society for people because someone could just run you over at any point in time. I think about it all day long. I see people taking chances on certain things that I potentially wouldn't take chances on because I don't think that they realize how statistically likely they are for something bad to happen when they do certain things, especially in the city. I see people jaywalking all the time in certain places where they're not supposed to be. And I'm like, you're one of these days, if you do that again, you're probably going to get hit by a car. And then like some people just won't even look. They'll just cross the street, on their phone. Don't give a buck. You have to stop for me. Right. And it's you really trust people that much that you're going to cross the street without even looking, I'm assuming you're assuming they're going to stop. What if they're having a bad day? What if they decide, you know what? I'm just going to take this person out. This person's being an ass.
Ready for this? One notable case in Germanwings flight 9525 crash on March 24th, 2015, not too long ago. Okay. In this incident, the co-pilot, Andreas Lubitz, intentionally crashed the plane into the French Alps, killing himself and the other 149 people on board. Investigators determined that Lupitz had previously been treated for suicidal tendencies and hid the information from his employer.
That's pretty sick.
Now, if you're a doctor or a psych...
That's got to be another 1 in a million thing, too.
Nope. Check it out. Boom. I'll tell you right now. Investigators... here we go. Suicide by pilot is an aviation event in which pilot deliberately crashes or attempts to crash an aircraft as a suicide act.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
I'm getting to it. With or without intention of causing harm to passengers on board or people on the group. By the way, this is from Wikipedia. On the ground, rather. If others are killed, it may be considered a type of murder-suicide. It is suspected to have been a possible cause in several commercial flight crashes and has been confirmed as the cause of other instances. Determining the motives of pilots can be challenging for crash investigators, as pilots may intentionally disable recording devices or engage in other actions to impede in future investigations. Consequently, definitively proving pilot by suicide can be difficult. The Airbus A320 operating out of Germanwings Flight 9525 was deliberately crashed. United Airlines Flight 175 was hijacked on September 11th by Al-Qaeda terrorists, leading it to being deliberately crashed into 2 of the World Trade Centers as part of September 11th attacks.
Right. That was a little different, though, you know what I mean?
But also, trending, apparently there was a 5th plane. Even
TMZ is doing a story on that.
That's pretty crazy. A Bloomberg News study conducted June 2022, focusing on crashes involving Western-built commercial airliners, revealed that pilot murder-suicides ranked as the second most prevalent cause of airline crash deaths between 2011 and 2020. Additionally, the study found that deaths resulting from pilot murder-suicides increased over the period from 1991 to 2020. While fatalities due to accidental causes significantly decreased, however, most cases of suicide by pilot involved general aviation in small aircraft, where typically the pilot is the sole occupant of the aircraft. In approximately half of these cases, the pilot has consumed drugs, often alcohol, antidepressants, which would typically result in a ban of flying. Many of these pilots have concealed their mental illness histories from regulators. Now, I feel as a psychologist, there is patient confidentiality, right? A priest, you have confidence to tell your sins. I can go to a priest and be like, yeah, I killed someone, and I feel bad. And he will probably be like, you need to tell the police. It's the right thing to do. Can he religiously say anything? No. Can he? Probably. As a person.
I feel like they have in the past.
I don't know, but they're not supposed to.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Doctors can't discuss patient information. They can't. There's signs in elevators and hospitals. There would be absolutely no.
You know, that's how the Menendez brothers got caught, right?
They're psychologists.
Yeah.
But that
was weird though, because he was like trying to get the breaking story on them, or like piece it all together. And his secretary, who he was sleeping with, the doctor, he was having an affair, overheard that they had killed their parents, like in one of his sessions with them. But I think it was the secretary.
That's why you're not in hospitals, in the elevators. It says if you're a doctor or nurse, you're not supposed to discuss patient anything medical on the elevator, because there's people that are from the hospital trying to go from point A to point B, up, down, whatever. As a psychologist, if someone is having suicidal thoughts or saying they're going to kill someone, there should be some legalities to that where they are able to contact the family, especially if you're under 18, because you're not considered an adult. So the psychologist has to be like, hey, Mrs. So-and-so, your son just told me he wants to kill himself. He's got it planned out. We should watch him. Yeah. Or if the person's over 18 and that individual is like, I'm going to kill John Smith, that psychologist should contact.
I think they do. In terms of suicide, I think that they do. They're supposed to. So
I don't know. So don't quote me, but that should be a thing. If it's not a thing, it should definitely be a thing. Yeah. But back to Mr. Ramesh. I am very curious on his religion, on what was going on in his life, because maybe he's about to experience the biggest metanoia of his life ever. Metanoia is, in Catholic terms, a complete transition from not being religious to wholeheartedly practicing and giving your all towards a religion. It's a Catholic definition.
You get into the numerology of things. 11A. 11 plus 1, which would be A, first letter of the alphabet, is 12. It's 12 apostles. Jesus is the 13th.
And the next day was
the 13th.
Friday the 13th? Wow.
Trippy.
Is this something that you came up with?
I thought we talked about it a little bit, but not. Yeah, I thought about it.
Because I want to give credit where credit's due.
No, 100%. That was wholeheartedly me.
Because I remember you texting me this, and I was just like...
But here's the most trippy thing is, like, 11 plus 1 is 12, obviously. It happened on Thursday the 12th. 12.
See, but I got to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Even though...
What are the odds of that, though? It wasn't C12, right?
It was 11A. Right. So now, when people do this on Instagram all the time, right? They take something, and they're like, oh, see, look, that blue Care Bear is next to Frankenstein, and if you go back to Frankenstein in 1940 when it first aired, which I don't know, and they'll start connecting things.
Right. It could be a coincidence.
Create something. You know what I mean?
But you got to admit, it's a pretty crazy coincidence.
Even though A is the first letter of the alphabet,
yeah.
You know, does it really translate to numerical terms? No, yes, but it is crazy that A is the first alphabet, and then there was 12 apostles, and he was sitting in 11A, and then A is the number 1, and that'd be 12, and the Friday the 13th the next day, and literally the next day after this plane crash, everything started going to shit again. What are we Googling?
Watch this.
Okay. Back to ChatGPT. You could tell your ChatGPT I love it too, so that I'm double safe when the AI apocalypse takes over.
Let's just see how smart ChatGPT is.
Okay.
I'm trying to ask it if his name, like Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, has any biblical ties.
I would personally would say no.
All right, so it's going to give me a summary. It says, summary, no direct biblical ties, but the name Vishwas and Kumar, son, has a spiritual parallel that echoes of Christian themes of faith. So Kumar means son. So Vishwas is faith in the Son of God.
Okay.
2 names.
It also sounds very close to dishwash.
It does, but I'm just telling you what it means, bro. It's like, these are good. These are good little parallels.
What I am curious is how much he practiced his religion, and I'm sure a lot of people on there did. And for the unfortunate events, those people met their demise that day. It was their time. Somehow, some way, I'm pretty sure he's never going to fly again in his life.
It said that this makes his survival even more meaningful, symbolic, and poetic. The man of faith, a son, persevered. That's what it says. I'm just I kid you not, bro. This is what it comes up with. Look at that bottom.
Oh my god. Has the little purple cross emoji too.
Yeah.
No direct biblical origin, but the name Vishwas, faith, and Kumar, son, have spiritual parallels. The echo-Christian themes of faith, divine protection, and identity as sons or daughters of God. There is a big red X. Biblical link. The name has no direct biblical equivalent, though it is tied to divine. Okay. And it's Hindu. That's the religion. Hindu, not Buddhism. Hinduism. I was dead wrong on that before. Wow. Well, so he's miraculous. That's the only way you could say that. I wouldn't say lucky. I would say surviving something like that is 100% miraculous. And I wouldn't. I'm not getting on a plane anytime soon. Absolutely not. Not doing it. For me to get on a plane, I will have to go see some doctor.
Go to Florida. You'll be all right. Florida's fine.
I'll drive.
Those 2 hours on the flight in Florida. Nothing happens
12,
from New York to
10
Orlando.
hours, brand new car, chilling, cruising. I did the road trip. It was miserable at one point, but
Florida's a rough road trip, bro.
But we didn't get to stop. We had to get there at a certain time for a certain thing when I went.
Yeah.
Had we been able to stop, the ride would have been better. Okay, we're going to do 10 hours. We're going to get to North Carolina. We're going to get a hotel. We're going to wake up, freshen up. We're going to get breakfast, and we're going to go on the road with a cup of joe and see more of the sights. We're going to stop at south of the border. We're going to make it to the tip of Florida. We're going to stop, enjoy North Florida, and then make it down to where we went in Boca Raton. Because Boca Raton is the ass end of Florida.
It's deep.
We did that shit in 24 hours. Legit. If we were able to stop, if you're able to stop and you have substantial time, road trips are fun. If you're not able to stop and you got to keep on driving, one person sleeping, next person takes over, and then it's miserable.
It's rough.
It's rough. It is 100% rough. But road trips are fun. I'll do a road trip. I got to go to Florida for a vacation. Take a couple days early.
There is a place in Florida that we should visit. Coral Castle.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this.
We did.
We had an episode. You did an episode about this.
Leeds Scallion.
Yep.
Yeah,
Leeds Scallion, yeah. He had all this limestone. He built the whole thing. They're trying to debunk on how he did it. I remember that episode.
We got to check that place out.
That was back in the mic passing days.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah. So before we close, what do you think about, do you think this is a miraculous event? There's not much to go on. There's,
It's just one of those things, like, just super lucky,
You think lucky, not religious?
Maybe not. I mean, how many times do we trip in life and just miss the edge of the table, or you know what I mean? This
is true. I've gotten lucky I can't say one of the stories on here for certain reasons, but I remember as a kid, I was at a friend's pool, and the pool had 2 poles on each side and a wire that ran across. And it's very hard to see. I jumped to try to get to the other end of the pool and did not see the wire and literally almost hung myself.
Oh boy.
I felt the wire hit my neck, and I went and I was like, got the petechiae from breaking blood vessels. My voice was impaired for a little bit, and I was like, holy shit. Like, and then I asked my friend, his name was Mike. I was like, Mike, not Mike DeLuna. I was like, am I good? Am I bleeding? Is there anything? He's like, no, I got some red dots. And I told my mom, and she goes, you stupid idiot. You almost killed yourself in the pool. You didn't even drown. You almost hung yourself. Only an idiot can do that in a pool, hang themselves and not drown themselves.
I definitely almost drowned once.
Yeah.
Super lucky.
Lucky. But again, goes back to, is it luck or is it not your time?
Yeah.
I honestly think, and I've discussed this with certain individuals.
I might be going to watch Final Destination tonight, so this is like a perfect segue into that movie.
Segue away, baby.
Creep me right into that thing.
Dishwash Vince Swanee. But I'm saying that in life, you have a purpose. You have a destiny to fulfill. You are put in a predicament or a situation for a reason. There are people you meet at a certain time for a reason. People you never expect to meet. They could be someone that you actually come across and not see them for months, and now they're talking to you and your friends, and they're in your life. You are put in other people's lives for a certain reason, and then you fall away from other people's lives for a certain reason. I've had friends that were brothers. Like, I consider them a brother. Don't even talk to them no more. And then what did it do for me? It left me with, wow, we had good memories. We had good times. They were there for me at that point in my life for the sole purpose to get me by those years. And now they're gone. We went separate ways, and then you meet someone else. I feel that in life you have a circle, and God takes people and puts them in the circle. And when the circle gets full and each individual in that circle has fulfilled what they are there for, he takes them out of your circle and leaves it open for a while for you to decide who to bring in, or for him to put people in that circle. Whether it's
a good way of thinking about
whether it's by natural causes, where they take permanently from you and you're left with memory from them and what you've learned from them, or they step out of your circle, out of your life for reasons of animosity or reasons of long distance. They're traveling. We've lost people. Eddie, went to Arizona. He was a good friend, played softball together. He's not out of my circle, but we stay in touch. But there's a circle. Everyone has a circle, and people are put in that circle and taken out of that circle. And for certain reasons in that circle, there's things that can happen to you. And if it's not your time where the circle is closed, it's not your time. And that's about it. And that's my way of thinking about life, especially in the last few months. I have gotten more biblical. I've gotten more philosophical, trying to just pan out this fucking crazy road I've been on the last few months. Through health, through reading. I started reading again. Still an idiot, but I did. I read.
You're still reading?
I'm still reading. And this book has no pictures. So you'd be proud. There'd be an individual that'd be proud of me. No pictures. No Dr. Seuss. No green eggs and ham. Sam I Am. Dishwash Vince Swanee.
At least you're not Lenny from Mice of Men.
No.
Things could be worse.
It could be. And, and then that's Lenny's is why I'm afraid of flying a plane, being on a plane. It could be a Lenny pilot.
That could be.
I don't want that, So, all right, well, yeah. So you think
I wanted to spare everyone from their suffering.
Yeah, no, man, dude.
No, don't spare me. I'm good. I'm not suffering that bad, bro.
Well, quick episode. I thought that was episode worthy. We talked about it. Not, like I said, not much to go on. Just about him and his brother was on the flight. And do we know what he did for a living?
I don't.
You want to do it? Let's just end on that note. I'm just curious on what he did for a living. The sad story was that whole family that was trying to better themselves and go to England.
Yeah.
And the whole family. And I read one comment on that, and the comment was at least the family
went
out.
It was that all those, was it a soccer team? No, it was like a gymnastics team. Remember? Recently? The one that the helicopter crashed. Yeah. It's a whole bunch of kids.
And one of the comments I read is, it's really sad and it's unfortunate, but at least they went out together. Like they're in the next life together. And
he ran a textile business.
a what?
A textile business before becoming the sole survivor of the crash.
If you would have said he was like a dishwasher,
that'd be fun.
I would have just walked away.
It's like we're done with this podcast. Like,
yeah,
his survival was no mistake.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do your own podcast on dishwashing and luck and circles and odd numbers that equate to Joey's crazy things that he texts me,
you got to put them together, man.
You can go to Spotify for podcasters. I fucked up. First time in a while.
Wow.
Yeah, Spotify for creators.
There you go.
See? That was bad luck. Now I got to watch it driving home. But Spotify
cleanse, you got to throw some of that banishing oil on you downstairs.
It's not there anymore, thank God. Joanne took it back.
You saw how I came in quick with that? I was like the mushrooms, boy.
Mushrooms, man. You know what it is? I'm lacking mushrooms.
The shilajit. The chalk. You're that guy who does those videos. He always puts his plug in at the end. I'm like, this guy is selling his mushrooms again.
I'm having trouble watching YouTube videos lately because there's a plug everywhere. I'm like, dude, but there is a plug, and this is not, we don't get paid for this. We just like to thank the outlet that allowed this to happen, and that's Spotify for Creators. If you haven't heard about Spotify for Creators, it is the free app that allows you to get your podcasting idea
out there.
So if you have a phone, tablet, or computer, and you're a dishwasher, head over to Spotify for Creators to get started. Joey, quick, easy, Vince Swami episode.
Yeah.
And you going to watch Final Destination tonight?
I might.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'll tell you, Friday the 13th, that was pretty low-key.
The first one was about a plane crash. You know that, right?
Nah, dude.
The very first Final Destination, he's just sitting there. He has a premonition of just getting toasted on this plane. He gets up, freaks out. Everybody's like, this plane's going to crash. He's trying to get everybody off. Only 13 people get off.
13.
Yeah.
That's that number.
That's crazy,
but it's
right?
a movie.
It's a movie, though.
Yeah, I know.
Only 13 people get off. The rest of the plane crashes. And then they all start dying.
The 13 people that got off the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all start dying one by one. They have to figure out how to cheat death again.
No, it was their time. They cheated death. He got a premonition. He fucked it all up for them. Yep. And it's coming after them. Now they got to worry. They could be brushing their teeth. And they slip. And they're
What's this guy's name again? He's got to watch out, man. Somebody's got to call this guy up and be like, listen, this is the reality, man. Death is after you now.
It goes one of two. First of all, death is after us the minute we're born. Okay? You want to get poetic, man? That you start to die the minute you're born.
Listen.
That is crazy. That's
a good point.
Literally are born and you are going to die at some point. You are born into this world to literally die. It is what you do in your life that makes you being here worth living.
For you.
You know what I mean?
Not really for anything else. I mean, maybe for other people.
No, you are put here with the intentions of what are you going to do with this gift. You're actually, the odds of you being alive is astronomical.
Right, that's a good point. Or we didn't show up as a bird. Right?
So the odds of you being alive are astronomical. It's what you do with it, and that's why I have tried really hard not to be the worrywart because
So get on a plane, bro. We're going to Egypt.
No. No. You remember you talk about calculating? I'm calculating. I'm on land. I'm good.
We got to see these rocks, man. We got to see these rocks in person.
I'm telling you, listen, I'll tell you what. We hit 10K. We'll do a GoFundMe. We'll find me a doctor that can prescribe me some pills.
You heard it here first, folks.
Okay.
GoFundMe starts at 10K.
This is how we'll end the episode. You guys, we get to 10K. It says 10K Swap Podcast. We're getting there.
Swatch. Listen.
Oh, 10K. We got to do the plug for that.
We're going to Egypt.
And good thing you reminded me. I forgot that was back there for a second.
Here, baby.
But
it's actually a cool hoodie.
I love that hoodie. That's my favorite one.
I had Jurassic Park-esque going on.
But if we get 10K, I'll open up a GoFundMe. Get me a nice doctor that's going to give me something that can knock me out for 6 hours. We land in Egypt. We film an episode. We do sightseeing. We video. And we come back to the United States. And you can take care of my passport because I have no idea how to do all that.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
It's expired. I don't know what my birth certificate is.
It will be good.
But, and also, thankfully, Joey pointed back to me because I have this awesome hoodie. If you saw the Instagram stories, I gave the love. But Squatch Watch is the best cryptid Instagram page out there with 1 million followers. And of course,
Sick videos.
Awesome stuff. If you're into cryptids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness, anything, Skunk Ape, they have a Skunk Ape hoodie out now. You can go over to Squatch Watch on Instagram and then click the link right below in the bio, and it will take you to the merch page where you can get hats, hoodies, and shirts, all with your favorite cryptids on it. And of course, the most iconic, Bigfoot, which that is Jurassic Park-esque with Joey's favorite thing right there. Did you notice that little UFO?
That's who dropped this guy off.
Yeah, probably. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know, aliens, UFOs, they're all, you know, everything. We're aliens.
I just want to know. They should just tell us, bro. Just give it to us straight. Stop lying.
Well, keep watching and listening. We'll have information.
We're going to figure it all out here, right here on
out.
this podcast.
And that's where we're going to blow up. That's when we'll go to Egypt with Joey and Nick. I'll be phoning in. Hi guys, how is it? Oh, pyramids look good. Yeah, it looks amazing. All right, fuck Zaire Wash.
All right,
and then it's been another episode. Yeah, fuck that guy.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, him too. Oh, we got to do a part 2 on him.
Yeah,
just for shits and giggles. Let's just go in on Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, why not?
He's been quiet. He's gonna call me and be like, "Why are you messing with me?
What's going on?
I didn't
guys?
do anything. I calmed down. I pray now." He's gonna say, "I'm like, okay, we'll take it easy."
He's like, "I'm into the Matrix. I watch it a lot."
Yeah, there's life on another planet. You were right. Yeah. You're gonna come in and shake your hand. Anyways, it's been another episode of the Say What Again Billy podcast.